Hawke's Bay-based company Firstlight Foods is sending grass-finished marbled Wagyu beef to overseas markets such as the US, Japan and Europe for a premium return. Jason Ross is co-owner and marketing manager for Firstlight Foods.
Firstlight Foods was established 7 years ago. It started with venison, and we established what is a unique operating model within the industry. With us all having come out of the mainstream meat industry, we thought there was a bit of a different way of approaching it. So we got a group of farmers together, and they own half of a business called Firstlight Venison and we own the other half. And the reason we structured it that way was we wanted active as opposed to passive people involved in the business. So we chose some of what we believe are the best farmers, got them together, they grow to a certain specification, and we've partnered them with some, we would say, blue chip retail and food service partners around the world. And Wagyu beef is basically a cut and paste of Firstlight venison, obviously with cattle as opposed to deer. They're shareholders in the business up to 50%, and they will buy a share. Everybody's share is equal. The $10,000 is the fee to join, or the price of the share. And they supply us a select number of deer, or in this case cattle, and they are very actively involved in the decision making for the business, whether it be at Forex or seasonal flows of livestock. Largely what we say is treat Firstlight as a hedge to your revenue streams from your overall business. We will inevitably be at the top end of the market, but we won't always be the best price on any given day. But what we will give you is a guaranteed price 12 months out in advance, which you can bank. So it's security and it is transparency that are probably the two key parts of the business. We're absolutely unique in terms of the quality of the grass-fed beef that we produce. So this business was born out of grain-fed Wagyu, and Wagyu around the world is 99.9% raised on grain. So our unique point of difference is all about marbling, and that's where the Wagyu genetics come in. But a big part of why people buy what we produce is because they're interested in the welfare of the animal, they're interested in the health benefits of the meat that they're eating. So our unique selling point is very much around marbling raised as nature intended. We're processing plus minus 5,000 cattle a year. We'd like to grow that to 10,000 within 3 years and then escalate it beyond that. Of course, what we're very conscious of is we don't want to grow faster than our markets, because that's when we come under some price pressure. So we're sort of thinking 3 years in advance and building markets for cattle coming on stream. But our short, medium term aspiration is 10,000 cattle.
It's all started with the brown rig stud. We've got an exclusivity agreement with a full-blood Wagyu stud. We buy the bulls and the semen from the stud, then those semen or bulls are leased to the farmers in the produce group, the breeders. So we'll contract either dairy farmers to put the semen into their Frisian or their Kiwi cows and then buy the calves back off them, or the majority of the business is Wagyu bulls over Angus or Frisian Angus cows.
How heavy are they?
About 560, 580 kilos.
So
they'll be winter cattle.
The breeders can either finish their own cattle, they produce weaners, and they can either finish them themselves up to 2 to 3 years of age, both heifers and steers, or they'll be on-sold to a finisher who will buy them at weaning stage. We also have background finishers which they'll buy weaners and then take them through to 18 months. And then guys the likes of Mike, they've put their hand up for 18 months to 2.5 years of age through to slaughter, so because they can carry the heavy cattle through the winters. And so, I mean, the beauty of it is there's different parts of the supply that that farmers can specialise in, I suppose. You don't have to be involved in the whole supply chain to be involved in the group. All the farms are QA'd. We've got a manual that we've written, and all the farms have to be QA'd by our customers and by ourselves. In terms of the quality of the cattle, we've got a livestock technician on the road. He is permanently on farm weighing the cattle, helping the farmers with the cattle, and also picking the cattle for slaughter. So then we've got one set of eyes doing a consistent product. The cattle are generally not picked on weight, they're just on condition and actually finish of the animal. That ensures a consistent product year round. They don't have to farm them any differently, but they are quite sensitive to loss of weight. The intramuscular fat is the first to get eaten up, consumed when they lose weight, the cattle beasts. So generally, because you're paid on marbling, you're paid on quality, you need to consistently grow these animals all the way through their life. We're approaching $6 a kilo carcass back to the farmers. Because it's in a market pool system and the farmers are shareholders, about 80% of that $6 is paid out at 60 days following payment from the customer, because the farmer actually owns the product all the way to the market. Firstlight doesn't purchase the product off them. We manage the supply chain, manage the customer relationships, so they get paid when the customer pays us, and then there's the 20% from $4.50 to $5 up to the $6 is retained in the pool, which is shared between the breeders and the finishers. So ultimately, the breeders retain ownership in that cattle beast all the way through to when it's slaughtered. So everyone's accountable for every part of the supply chain they do.
Mike Glazebrook is running 125 rising 3-year-old Wagyu steers on a 100-hectare property at Marae Kakaho as part of a larger farm operation.
We're just looking for an alternative cattle policy other than bulls. We've been running bulls for 20 odd years and they've worked well for us. But there are a number of behavioural issues, especially when you run them in bigger mobs. So the Wagyu have a lot of advantages just from a management perspective for us. And it looks like there's a well-organised marketing program. So we thought it was well worth getting a few on and trialling them. We've got 114 2.5-year-old Wagyus. The secure price and the organised marketing program is definitely an advantage. We're used to the ups and downs of the schedule with bulls and they've learnt to live with it, but if a program can be put together which gives us certainty of pricing, that's definitely an advantage. The main thing we're going to have to learn is how to feed them properly so that we're growing them fast enough so that they do get the desired marbling scores. That's the main thing, just how well we have to feed them in order to get the meat to grade. So we're starting down on some easy river flats down here where we can be pretty sure we can provide them with green feed all year round. We're not expecting the Wagyus to grow as fast as the bulls. They're laying down intramuscular fat, which inherently isn't as efficient as just growing muscle or normal fat. So we're expecting the live weight gains to be lower, but we think the compensations in terms of manageability and the market price will compensate for that.
What we've got here is good quality Angus or Hereford, good British breed beef. This is what we would classify in our marble score 3 to 6 range, so it goes into the green box, so that's marble score, I'd say 4 to 5, and this is marble score 7, so this is arguably the best grass-fed beef in the world. That is what achieves maximum value. About 20% of the cattle that we produce fall into that category, and that goes in the gold box. A farmer in today's prime steer schedule, which is $4.50 a kilo, he's going to get $1,500 a head for a well-finished prime steer like this one. A grass-fed Wagyu beef shareholder farmer is going to get $2,000 for the marble score 3 to 6, and the top of the range is going to get about $2,500 per head.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.